Are you suffering from chronic pain or other physical discomfort? What if your body isn't broken, but trying to protect you? In this episode, I share how unprocessed emotions can show up as physical symptoms and what you can do to begin healing from within. I'm Fiona Cook and I've been working as a systemic coach for over 20 years. I guide leaders and entrepreneurs through a 5-month journey, from inner disruption to clarity, balance, and authentic leadership. I work both online and in person with the underlying dynamics that influence how we lead, relate, and show up, in business and in personal life. You can find me at cookcoaching.nl. This episode is about chronic pain, old injuries, and all those little and not so little aches and ailments. The ones that keep you feeling stuck. I originally recorded this episode in Dutch, but this topic being so universal, I realize I just have to share this with you in English too. In my book Unraveled, Liberated Through Understanding Repeating Patterns of My Past, I shared how the process of writing helped me to let go of long-standing physical pain. I'd been limited by pain in my shoulders, arms, knees, back, calf for what felt like decades. And then I felt free, liberated. But the relief didn't last. The pain slowly returned, worse than before. And with it came a sense of shame, guilt, and self-reproach. Besides, even though the pain had eased at first, other issues had never left. I still couldn't tolerate wheat gluten or cow milk. I had dry eyes and eczema. These were things I'd learned to live with. And my friends were always really kind and accommodating, but sometimes I wish I could just be quote-unquote normal and just pig out on whatever I was craving for. At age 60, I know how important it is to keep moving. Use it or lose it, as they say. And yes, I try to be kind to myself. I tell myself, you're getting older, give yourself some slack. But deep down, I wasn't ready to surrender. For years to come, I want to be able to hike to summits, ski off-piste, and keep up with my adventurous, now 1.5-year-old grandson living in the Norwegian mountains. So I kept trying. Everything. Physiotherapy, osteopathy, acupuncture, medical fitness, yoga, even a muscle whisper. Some things helped, but only temporarily. And it all started to feel like patching up symptoms, instead of healing at the root. As a systemic coach, I look at the whole. How personal history, family dynamics, and hidden loyalties can live on in the body, in symptoms, emotions, and behaviors. So of course I'd spent years exploring my own deeper layers, the underlying patterns and subconscious beliefs that could still be jeopardizing my healing. There were, after all, always explanations to back me up. That old injury in my calf? It started when I was 15 after a ski accident. It just hadn't healed properly. My aching joints, eczema, dry eyes, runs in the family. I never really built muscle because my body was always in pain. And my back? I kept wondering if I needed another new mattress. Every morning I'd do yoga, very disciplined, to uncrease myself, as I'd say. People would tell me, you're overdoing it. You should listen to your body, slow down. But I think even if I do slow down, it doesn't seem to help. Deep down, I knew there's something else here I need to face. I knew I had to go deeper, beyond the physical, to look at the unconscious protective mechanisms that were preventing me from healing. And yes, people who know me might think, but Fiona, you've already done so much inner work, and I have. Yet I had to ask myself, is there something I still haven't faced? Something my body is still holding on to? That question became a turning point. Someone brought me into contact with Alex Parenquan. I'll link him in the show notes. He said, I can help you reduce 80% of your symptoms in 12 weeks' time. It sounded too good to be true, but I was willing, so I gave it my all. Alex helped me to build trust in the process by explaining the science behind it. I had to read books, watch videos. I spent almost a day a week doing this work. The main theory behind this is from John Sarno, author of, among many other books, Healing Back Pain. He noticed that many people with chronic pain had recurring symptoms, even after treatments. So at some time he wondered, has any doctor ever asked, how are you really doing? How is your marriage, your financial situation, your kids, your job? What's going on for you at an emotional level? He discovered there's no real clear correlation between medical diagnosis, like a hernia, and pain. This has been backed up by many studies since. Many people have hernias without pain, and others have pain without a clear cause. So the question is, what's really going on? Sarno called it TMS, tension myositis syndrome, also known as pain diversion syndrome, PDS. The core idea is the brain reckons that physical pain is easier to deal with than emotional pain like anger, guilt, or fear. According to the TMS theory, the autonomic nervous system temporarily reduces blood flow to muscles or nerves, causing oxygen deprivation and the experience of pain, with the result that pain diverts your attention away from difficult emotions, and hence from the root cause of the problem. It's probably not a coincidence that you're listening to this podcast episode at this very moment, so I suggest you take a moment to pause this recording and reflect. What might your body be trying to protect you from? If you did pause, what came up? Write it down. Let it speak. That's how healing begins. When I told Alex about all the therapists I was seeing, he said, "Those are all placebos. They may offer relief, but they're not addressing the root." That one sentence saved me a lot of time and money. The real work was to identify those unconscious repressed emotions. According to Sarno, this is what causes 90% of chronic issues. Not just pain, but in my case, also my irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, allergies, and dry eyes. For you, you may also be thinking of migraines, MS, and tons of other chronic diseases. Whatever it may be for you that you're dealing with on a chronic basis, I promise you, you can turn this around. And just to be clear, if you're experiencing pain, it's real. It's not in your head, but it may be your brain protecting you. Opening yourself up to and believing this theory matters. If you believe that your knee pain will disappear with a knee replacement, it probably will. But if you replace one and then the other starts hurting, it may be time to look deeper. Because TMS travels through the body and it often shows up in places where you're already weak. One of the first things Alex said to me is, "You need to build strength. Go back to the gym." That was tricky for me. With a strong will like mine, how do I know when to persevere and when to respect my limits? So I started with 1 kilo weights while others were lifting 5. My challenge, to focus on my journey, to stay present with my sensations, to feel instead of push. Alex would ask me, "Where were your thoughts just now?" It sounds simple, but it was transformational. One time I was scratching my face as I was talking. He asked that question, "Where were your thoughts?" And it would make me associate. I'd been talking about taking care of the plants on my balcony. That led to memories like gardening as a child. My parents had a beautiful garden, but it required endless care, and I experienced it as a major have-to, a never-ending task. From there, deeper layers unfolded. What else did I have to do? Where else did I have that same unspoken pressure to perform, to serve, to adapt? Where had I learned to ignore my inner no? Did I ever get to explore what I wanted instead of what was expected of me? Did I get the chance to discover who I was apart from the roles I'd taken on? That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about gardening. This was about lifelong over-adaptation, about choosing harmony over authenticity, and my body had been carrying the cost. With every such realization, something started to shift. I didn't just understand the connection, I felt it. In my chest, my shoulders, the tears that welled up without warning. This wasn't weakness, this was grief. Grief for all the moments that I hadn't been able to say no. for all the times that I'd abandoned my own pace, my own needs. That's when healing began, not by pushing harder, but by softening into what was really there. Alex also encouraged me to start every day with sunlight. Within an hour of sunrise, go outside and expose your eyes to natural light, without glasses, for 15 to 20 minutes. Morning light helps to regulate your biological clock, your circadian rhythm. If you're not sleeping well, this is especially helpful. The body finds its natural day and night rhythm again, causing melatonin and cortisol to balance out. Melatonin calms the nervous system. Better sleep supports recovery, stimulates digestion and regeneration of mucous membrane. Cortisol helps you to wake up and feel energized after a good night's sleep. So I cycled for 10 minutes to a place where I could see the sunrise, did breathing exercises and journaled. It really works. My gut feels better and my eyes are less dry. Journaling formed a big part of my recovery. If your mind goes everywhere, writing really helps to connect to feelings again. And yes, it may be hard to express yourself at first, to give words to what emotions you're experiencing, but believe me, practice helps every day. As I stayed consistent with this process, things began to shift. Physically, yes, but also emotionally and relationally. During those 12 weeks, a lot surfaced. I reconnected with my childhood boyfriend, the one I wrote about in Unraveled. He came back into my life, perfect timing. Now I could feel what I couldn't feel back then, allowing me to express what I'd never said. We talked about things we'd never spoken of before, and that too was healing. I also had to face the consequences of a family secret that affected me deeply. Even though it wasn't mine, I felt it. And I thought, what's going on? Why do I feel this in my body? What am I trying to fix for someone else? That's when I recognized it for what it was, a systemic entanglement. As a systemic coach, I know how unresolved pain, guilt, or silence in a family doesn't just vanish. It lives on, in bodies, emotions, or behaviors of those who come later. That's what was happening to me. My body was reacting to something I hadn't lived through myself, but I was carrying out of love, loyalty, and a deep unconscious desire to restore balance where something had once been broken. That's the essence of systemic entanglement. We take on what isn't ours, hoping, often without realizing it, to bring healing or resolution to someone else's pain. Here's what I've come to know. What isn't mine can't be healed by me. I can witness it, acknowledge it, and I can let it go by returning it gently to the one it truly belongs to. And please rest assured, that doesn't mean you have to do this in person. As a systemic coach, I support people in this process all the time. You don't need to confront anyone, explain yourself, or reopen old wounds face to face. This is inner work. It happens inside of you. I guide clients using a constellation or visualization. In this process, you imagine the person in front of you and you speak under my guidance, silently or out loud, the words that were never spoken. You feel what needs to be felt, and you release the responsibility that was never yours to begin with. That's the power of systemic work. Others don't need to change in order for you to become free. If you feel that you're carrying what isn't yours, if your body or your life is giving you signals that something deeper is at play, know that you don't have to figure it out all alone. This is the work I do, and I'd love to support you in the process. Back to me. You might be wondering, what were the actual results? Well, after 12 weeks, my pain levels had dropped significantly. Pains that used to be 7 or 8 were now down to 3 or 4, even completely gone. The pain in my shoulder that used to wake me up at night, gone. Last week I hiked over 35,000 steps and climbed 138 flights in a single day, and I felt fine. My digestion has improved. And remember how I told you I was gluten and cow milk intolerant? Well, during our summer holiday, I ate croissants, ice cream, cheese fondue, cake, all the things I'd avoided for most of my life. And my body? It was okay, more than okay. I feel free. And I won't tell you it's all perfect now. I still get eczema. My eyes are still a little dry, but everything is improving. And Most importantly, I trust the process because I'm listening honestly, curiously to what my body is telling me. And I keep asking, what am I holding back? What emotions need my attention? What part of me is ready to be felt? If you're dealing with chronic symptoms, I encourage you, look into the work of Dr. John Sarno, explore TMS or pain divergent syndrome. I recommend you reading Jennifer Sachs's book, Mind Your Body, or listen to her podcast. She's recorded hundreds of episodes that you can search by condition. Healing is possible. It really is. If something in your body has been whispering or maybe even shouting for your attention, then pause. Ask yourself, what am I still carrying that may not be mine? What emotions have I buried, for others or for myself? What would be possible if I were to let go and I'd come home to myself? You don't need all the answers right now, but if you're asking the questions, you've already begun. And if you'd like someone to walk beside you on that journey, if you're ready to explore what your body, your system, your deeper self is asking for, I'm here. As a wounded healer, I'm passionate about my work, and it would be an honor to explore with you what might serve you best. You can book a free 30-minute call via the link in the show notes. No pressure, just a conversation. Thank you for listening.